Hello, everyone. Here we are. We're going to get going with Joshua 15, okay? So we're going to pick it up. This is the conquering of the promised land that God promised to the Israelites. So here we go. Joshua 15. The allotment for the tribe of Judah, according to its clans, extended down to the territory of Edom to the desert of Zin in the extreme south. Their southern boundary started from the bay at the southern end of the Dead Sea. Now see, there can be no mistake what land is the Israelite land because it's all recorded right here. Okay, I know the Palestinians are in it right now, but the land was given to the Jews, and here it is, all written out. Their southern boundary started, Their southern boundary started from the bay at the southern end of the Dead Sea. This is for the tribe of Judah now. Crossed south of Scorpion Pass, continued on to Zin, and went over to the south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it ran past Hezron up to Adar and curved around to Karka. It then passed along to Asmon and joined the Wadi of Egypt, ending at the Mediterranean Sea. This is their southern boundary. The eastern boundary for the tribe of Judah is the Dead Sea as far as the mouth of the Jordan. The northern boundary started from the Bay of the Sea at the mouth of the Jordan, went up to Beth Hoglah, and continued north of Beth Arabah to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. The boundary then went up to Debir from the valley of Achor and turned north to Gilgal, which faces the pass of Adumim, south of the gorge. It continued along to the waters of En Shemesh and came out at En Rogel. Then it ran up the valley of Ben Hinnom along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem. From there, it climbed to the top of the hill west of the Hinnom Valley at the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. From the hilltop, the boundary headed towards the spring of the waters of Nephtoah, came out at the towns of Mount Ephron, and went down towards Baalah, that is Kiriath Jearim. Then it curved westward from Baalah to Mount Seir, ran along the northern slope of Mount Jearim, that is Kesalon, continued down to Beth Shemesh, and crossed to Timnah. It went to the northern slope of Ekron, turned towards Shikkeron, passed along to Mount Bala, and reached Jabneel. The boundary ended at the sea. The western boundary is the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. These are the boundaries around the people of Judah by their clans. In accordance with the Lord's command to him, Joshua gave to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, a portion in Judah, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron. And remember, Caleb had reminded him that that was the land the Lord said he would give him. Arba was the forefather of Anak. From Hebron, Caleb drove out the three Anakites, Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the sons of Anak. From there, he marched against the people living in Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sefer. And Caleb said, I'll give my daughter Aksa in marriage to the man who attacks and captures Kiriath Sefer. Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's brother, took it, so Caleb gave his daughter Aksa to him in marriage. Sounds like an old fairy tale, right? These fairy tales come from somewhere, don't they? One day, when she came to Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, what can I do for you? She replied, do me a special favor. Since you've given me land in the Negev, which is the desert region, give me also springs of water. So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Judah according to its clans. The southernmost towns of the tribe of Judah and the Negev towards the boundary of Edom were Kabzeel, Eder, Jager, Kaina, Dimona, Adadah, Kedesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph, Telem, Bealoth, Hazor, Hadadah, Kiriath Hezron, that is Hazor, Arnam, I don't know if this is Shema, Moladah, Hazor Gada, Heshmon, Beth Pelet, Hazar Shual, Beersheba, Biziotia, Bala, Iyim, Iyim, Ezem, El Tolad, Kizel, Horma, Ziklag, Madmana, Sansana, Lebaoth, Shillim, Ain, and Rimmon, a total of 29 towns and their villages. In the western foothills, Eshtal, Zorah, Ashna, Zanoah, En-Ganim, Tapua, Enam, Jarmuth, Adullam, Soka, Azekah, Sharam, Aditaim, and Gedera, or Gederotaim. 14 towns and their villages. Zenan, Hadashah, Migdal, Gad, Delin, Mizpah, Joktiel, Lachish, Boskath, Eglon, Kabon, Lamis, Kitlish, Gederoth, Beth Dagon, Nama, and Makkedah, 16 towns and their villages. Libnah, Ether, Ashan, Iftah, Ajna, Nezib, Keilah, Aksib, and Marishah, 9 towns and their villages. Ekron, with its surrounding settlements and villages, west of Ekron, all that were in the vicinity of Ashdod, together with their villages. Ashdod, its surrounding settlements and villages, and Gaza, its settlements and villages, as far as the Wadi of Egypt and the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. So this is all Judah's land, okay? So Judah is supposed to be settled in Gaza, and I believe the Jews are in Gaza now. Again, I believe they won it from Egypt or something. I don't quite remember. Okay, but I know that I think Ashdod, I thought, was a Philistine town, but I could be wrong. So here we go. In the hill country, Shamir, Jatir, Soka, Dana, Kiriath Sana, that is Debir, Anab, Eshtemo, Anam, Goshen, Holon, Gilo, 11 towns and their villages. Arab, Duma, Eshan, Janim, Beth Tapua, Athka, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zior, 9 towns and their villages. Maon, Carmel, Ziph, Judah, Jezreel, Joktiam, Zanoah, Cain, Gibeah, Timnah, 10 towns and their villages. Halhul, Bethsur, Gedor, Merath, Beth Anoth, and Eltekon, 6 towns and their villages. Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Reba, 2 towns and their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Arabah, Middin, Sekakah, Nibshan, the city of Salt, and En-Gedi, 6 towns and their villages. Judah could not dislodge the Jebusites who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the people of Judah. Hopefully they changed their ways. I doubt they would be sacrificing children in the presence of Israel, correct? All right, Joshua 16. The allotment for Joseph began at the Jordan. And if you remember, Joseph had 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. So those are 2 tribes. The allotment for Joseph began at the Jordan east of the springs of Jericho and went up from there through the desert into the hill country of Bethel. It went on from Bethel, that is Luz, L-U-Z, crossed over to the territory of the Archites in Adaroth, descended westward to the territory of the Japhletites as far as the region of Lower Beth Horon, and on to Gezer, ending at the Mediterranean Sea. So Manasseh and Ephraim, the descendants of Joseph, received their inheritance. This was the territory of Ephraim according to its clans. The boundary of their inheritance went from Adaroth Adar in the east to Upper Beth Horon and continued to the Mediterranean Sea. From Mikbetath on the north, it curved eastward to Tanath Shiloh, passing by it to Genoa on the east. Now, if you think none of this matters, I'm telling you it does, okay? So as I'm reading this, picture it, okay? Whatever picture you have in your mind is fine, but just make sure you're following it with a picture, okay? Because these names need to be familiar to you so that the rest of the Bible will make even more sense. Excuse me. Then it went down from Genoa to Adaroth and Nara, touched Jericho, and came out at the Jordan. And we remember the Jordan is the big river flowing through all this. From Tapua, the border went west to the Cana ravine and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the Ephraimites, or the tribe of Ephraim, according to its clans. It also included all the towns and their villages that were set aside for the Ephraimites within the inheritance of the Manassites. They did not dislodge the Canaanites living in Gezer. To this day, the Canaanites live among the people of Ephraim, but are required to do forced labor. Okay? So you may have somebody, a descendant somewhere, that has the name, the surname of a laborer, like Cutter, let's say. Okay, and they may have been part of the Canaanites that stayed there but did forced labor for the Jews. I don't know how that works, but I'm just trying to show you, because we do have a lot of names that indicate what they did for a living. Okay, here we go with Joshua 17. This was the allotment for the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn. That is for Machir, M-A-K-I-R, Manasseh's firstborn. Machir was the ancestor of the Gileadites who had received Gilead and Bashan because the Machirites were great soldiers. So this allotment was for the rest of the people of Manasseh, the clans of Abiezer, Helek, Azriel, Shechem, Hepher, and Shemitah. These are the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, by their clans. Now Zelophehad, son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, so that we're not mistaken which Zelophehad this is, had no sons, but only daughters whose names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah, and we've heard of them. They went to Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our relatives." So Joshua gave them an inheritance along with the brothers of their father, according to the Lord's command. Manasseh's share consisted of 10 tracts of land besides Gilead and Bashan east of the Jordan, because the daughters of the tribe of Manasseh received an inheritance among the sons. The land of Gilead belonged to the rest of the descendants of Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh extended from Asher to Mikmatath, east of Shechem. The boundary ran southward from there to include the people living in En Tapua. Manasseh had the land of Tapua, but Tapua itself on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the Ephraimites. Then the boundary continued south to the Cana ravine. There were towns belonging to Ephraim lying among the towns of Manasseh, but the boundary of Manasseh was the northern side of the ravine and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. That sounds beautiful. On the south, the land belonged to Ephraim, on the north to Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh reached the Mediterranean Sea and bordered Asher on the north and Issachar on the east. Within Issachar and Asher, Manasseh also had Beth-shan, Ibleam, and the people of Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo. Remember, Megiddo is the valley land where the battle of Armageddon is going to be fought. Together with their surrounding settlements, the third in the list is Naphoth. Yet the Manassites were not able to occupy these towns, for the Canaanites were determined to live in that region. However, when the Israelites grew stronger, they subjected the Canaanites to forced labor, but didn't drive them out completely. The people of Joseph said to Joshua, "Why have you given us only one allotment and one portion for an inheritance? We're a numerous people, and the Lord has blessed us abundantly." "If you're so numerous," Joshua answered, "and if the hill country of Ephraim is too small for you, go up into the forest and clear land for yourselves there in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaites." The people of Joseph replied, "The hill country is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites who live in the plain have chariots fitted with iron, both those in Beth-shan and its settlements and those in the valley of Jezreel." But Joshua said to the tribes of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, "You're numerous and very powerful. You'll have not only one allotment, but the forested hill country as well. Clear it, and its farthest limits will be yours, though the Canaanites have chariots fitted with iron, and though they are strong, you can drive them out." All right, last one for the night, Joshua 18, and there are 24 chapters in this book, so we're almost there. All right. The whole assembly of the Israelites gathered at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The country was brought under their control, but there were still 7 Israelite tribes who had not yet received their inheritance. So Joshua said to the Israelites, "How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Appoint 3 men from each tribe. I will send them out to make a survey of the land and to write a description of it according to the inheritance of each. Then they'll return to me. You're to divide the land into 7 parts. Judah is to remain in its territory on the south, and the tribes of Joseph in their territory on the north. After you've written descriptions of the 7 parts of the land, bring them here to me, and I'll cast lots for you in the presence of the Lord our God. The Levites, however, don't get a portion among you because the priestly service of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have already received their inheritance on the east side of the Jordan. Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave it to them." So we've heard the same thing over and over enough times to make it very plain what land exactly was given to the Jews by the Lord. As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua instructed them, "Go and make a survey of the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I'll cast lots for you here at Shiloh," which means he will either throw the Urim and Thummim, through the priests, or however they cast lots. Okay, it's like drawing straws. All right. And I'll cast lots for you here at Shiloh in the presence of the Lord. So the men left and went through the land. They wrote its description on a scroll, town by town, in 7 parts, and returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. Joshua then cast lots for them in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord, and there he distributed the land to the Israelites according to their tribal divisions. The first lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin according to its clans. Their allotted territory lay between the tribes of Judah and Joseph. On the northern side, their boundary began at the Jordan, passed the northern slope of Jericho, and headed west into the hill country, coming out at the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there, it crossed to the south slope of Luz, that is Bethel, and went down to Adaroth Adar on the hill south of Lower Beth Horon. From the hill facing Beth Horon on the south boundary, the boundary turned south along the western side and came out at Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a town of the people of Judah. This was the western side. The southern side began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim on the west, and the boundary came out at the spring of the waters of Nephtoah. The boundary went down to the foot of the hill facing the valley of Ben Hinnom, north of the valley of Rephaim. It continued down the Hinnom Valley along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, and so to En Rogel. It then curved north, went to En Shemesh, continued to Galiloth, which faces the pass of Adummim, and ran down to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. It continued to the northern slope of Beth Arabah and on down into the Arabah. It then went to the northern slope of Beth Hoglah and came out at the northern bay of the Dead Sea at the mouth of the Jordan in the south. This was the southern boundary. The Jordan formed the boundary on the eastern side. These were the boundaries that marked out the inheritance of the clans of Benjamin on all sides. The tribe of Benjamin, according to its clans, had the following towns: Jericho, Beth Hoglah, Emek Keziz, Beth Arabah, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Para, Ophrah, Kephar Ammonai, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns and their villages. Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Kephirah, Mozah, Rechem, Irpeel, Taralah, Zelah, Haleph, the Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah and Kiriath, 14 towns and their villages. This was the inheritance of Benjamin for its clans. I love you very much. Tomorrow we'll pick it up at Joshua 19. And when we're out of this book, we will go on to further adventures. I am praying for you. Please pray for me. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.